morning, students. Finally, you successfully completed 4 lessons: electric charges, electric potential, current electricity. Lastly, recently, you completed moving charges. And the next lesson is magnetism. Before we entering into this topic, first of all, we must know how important it is. See, the examination point of view, the weightage of this chapter is 6 marks. Sometimes you may get 5 marks question, or sometimes you may get 3 marks question. Finally, anyhow, nearly the weightage is around 6 marks. Now, in this topic, what we are going to learn in this topic? See, what is magnet, types of magnet, and properties of magnet. And next, what is the magnetic axis? Axial line, equatorial line, magnetic dipole. The magnetic dipole is placed along axial line. How can you find the magnetic field? Like later we'll see the different definitions, Earth's magnetism, different properties of Earth's magnetism, and dia, para, ferromagnetic materials differences, and finally hysteresis curve. All these things we will learn in this topic. Now see, first of all, we'll start the topic with a definition of magnet. See, a magnet is nothing but a substance which attracts small pieces of iron, nickel, cobalt. Such a substance we call it as a magnet. Earlier, 600 BC, a shepherd were visiting nearby hills. Their shoes, the nails of their shoes are strongly attracted by some unknown substance, but they didn't know much about that substance. Because of that substance that attracts the iron nails, if that such substance is hanged by using thread, it shows the direction of north and south. Such a substance, the later named magnet, but it is extracted from the original substance named is magnetite. See, its original, it is nothing but magnetite is nothing but an iron ore. From this substance, this natural magnet is extracted. But this magnet has irregular in shape. The strength of the magnet is very low. Very low. Now, such a substance, it is not much useful in day-to-day life. So, here, these magnets can be classified into 2 types. What are they? Natural magnets, and second one is artificial magnets. Natural magnets, and second one is artificial magnets. What is the difference of these natural magnets and artificial magnets? See, the natural magnets are available in mines, that is naturally occurring mines from the magnetite, that is directly available. But these natural magnets are irregular in shape, the strength is very low. And this is artificial magnets or man-made magnets. These artificial or man-made magnets, by using these natural magnets, we can make these artificial magnets, and whatever the shape we need, we can make it. See, this is the rectangular bar magnet, and this is the horseshoe magnet, like this. See, by using natural magnets, we can make artificial magnets. See, take the iron and steel. Then the natural magnets is continuously by touch and go method, continuously. If we are rubbing the artificial, then it can acquire the magnetism. Then finally, it behaves like a magnet. So it has wide applications in science, especially for navigation point of view. In so many experiments, we are using this rectangular bar magnet and this is horseshoe magnets. Practically, those are very useful. But the main difference is their strength. See, artificial magnets have more strength than natural magnets, because natural magnets are very low strength, but artificial magnets have very high strength. That is the reason practically it has more applications than this natural magnets. Then, once it acquires the magnetism, if you drop that magnet, or if you heat that magnet, that artificial magnet can lose the magnetism easily. So that is the reason those two things we have to try to avoid. What are they? Hammering and heating. Hammering and heating is those two causes for losing the artificial magnetism. So once again, what is the magnet? Magnet is nothing but a substance which attracts iron, nickel, and always rests in the direction of north and south, and that we call it as a magnet. Now, now, see, what are the properties of magnets? First, see the properties one by one. Attractive property, attractive property, attractive property is nothing but, here I am taking one bar magnet, rectangular bar magnet. One end it is act like a north, in the end it is behaves like a south. What are these poles? These poles are similar to, just like in electricity, what you call charges, just like that. In electricity, we have two types of charges, one positive charge and one negative charge. And similar way, here also in magnetism, we have two types of poles, one north pole and one south pole. But one difference is, in electricity, we can see the mono charges, either positive charge or negative charge. But in magnetism, you cannot see the monopoles, only north pole, only south pole, you cannot see. But here, the poles are exist in pairs. That's the difference you have. Now, here, one end is behaves like a north, another end is behaves like a south. If any unknown substance like iron, cobalt or nickel, if it is placed very near, this north pole is attracted, or this iron is attracted by this north pole. And similarly, if that one is placed here and this south pole is also attracted. So finally, the poles attracts the iron substance, cobalt, nickel. So this we call it as an attractive property. And second one, directive property. Direction. Suppose if the magnet is hanged freely, if it is suspended freely by using thread, it always shows the direction of north and south. Such a property we call it as a directive property, because based on this directive property only, earlier days the navigation completely depends on this directive property. Because in earlier days, I think in Hollywood movies also you might have watched it, especially in Pirates of Caribbean, and few movies are there, 1, 2, 3 like series are there. In that movies, maximum that they will use the compass, because the compass only shows the direction. So, but the purpose they are using this magnet, because it always shows the direction of north and south. So that property we call it as a directive property. Next, see, like poles repel each other, unlike poles attract each other. Just like properties of charges. Positive, positive, repulsion. Negative, negative, repulsion. Positive, negative, attraction. So the same way here also, one positive, north pole, north pole, there is a repulsion. South pole, south pole, again there is a repulsion. But north pole and south pole, there is a attraction. So similar to charges. And next, monopoles cannot exist. Here I am taking one bar magnet. One end is north and the end is south. Suppose if I am breaking this bar magnet into two pieces. Again here it becomes north, again here it becomes south. If I am cutting this into four pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, here south, here north, here south, here north, here south, here north, here south, here north, like this. But you cannot find any substance only north pole and only south pole. Such property we call it as a, the magnetic poles always exist in pairs. The magnetic poles always exist in pairs, and the monopoles cannot exist. But in charges, either positive charges can exist, either negative charges can exist. But in magnetism, only north pole and only south pole cannot exist. But here magnetism always exists in pairs. If you take any small substance also, in one is north and another is south. And next, property of induction. Property of induction. See, here I am taking bar magnet. Nearer to that bar magnet, if I am keeping any iron substance, because of this bar magnet, the magnetism is induced in this nearby substance. The property of induced this magnetism into this substance, we call it as a induction. Simply magnetic induction. In electricity also, we learn the same way. Because if any charged body, suppose here I am taking one charged body, positively charged body, if I am taking nearer to that one, if any uncharged body is placed here, negative charges are induced, here positive charges are induced. So this we call it as a electric induction, and this we call it as a magnetic induction. But here there is no physical contact between the substance and the substance and this bar magnet. So that there is no physical contact, that we call it as a magnetic induction. So finally we can conclude these properties of magnet. Once again say here, attractive property, a magnet can attract, a north pole can attract as a substance, and same way south pole also can attract the substance. So finally this we call it as an attractive property. And second one is directive property. The magnet is hanged and suspended freely. It always shows the direction of north and south. That we call it as a directive property. And third one is like poles repel each other, unlike poles attract each other. So north pole and north pole repulsion, south pole and south pole repulsion, north pole and south pole attraction. And last next one, fourth one is magnet always exists in pairs. Monopoles cannot exist. No single north pole and no single south pole. So always you can see it exists in pairs. So single north pole, single south pole cannot exist. And one more property. Repulsion is the sure test of magnetism. Repulsion is the sure test of magnetism. How a magnetic substance we can identify? See, here I am taking one bar magnet. This is north, this is south. Here, if I am taking here, I am keeping here one iron substance. This north pole can attract. If I am keeping one south pole, one magnetic substance, the south pole also can attract. But if I am taking one magnetic substance of north and south, but north and north, definitely it will repulse. So finally, that is the reason repulsion is the sure test of magnetism. So that is the reason attraction, by using attraction, you cannot say it is a magnetic substance or non-magnetic substance, because two cases will arise. Unmagnetic substance also can attract, and opposite pole substance also can attract. But only north and north pole can repulse each other. So finally, that is the reason repulsion is the sure test for testing the magnetism. See, we already know Coulomb's law in electricity. The force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to product of their charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. We already know this Coulomb's law in electricity, but similar type of one more law is there in magnetism that we call it as a Coulomb's law in magnetism. It is just similar. Here I am taking two poles. First pole, second pole. These two poles are separated by distance r. The force of attraction or repulsion between these two poles is directly proportional to product of their pole strengths and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. That is Qm1, Qm2. Pole strength 1, pole strength 2. And inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, that is r square. By combining these two, you get F proportional to Qm1, Qm2 by r square. If I am removing the proportionality, I can get F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into Qm1, Qm2 by r square. So here mu naught is called permeability, permeability of substance, and constant pole strength 1 and pole strength 2. This r is the square of the distance between those two poles. This, because you see only one difference in charges, simply you have taken Q1 and Q2, but here poles I have taken Qm1 and Qm2, and the separation is r. The suppression is R. Next. What is magnetic field? Different types of magnetic field and properties of magnetic field lines. See, this is the bar magnet. North and south pole is there. Around the bar magnet, the field lines are forming. North to south, but inside south to north. Now see here, magnetic field is nothing but the region or space around a bar magnet in which a small magnetic substance field is kept, it experiences the force. The region or space around a magnet in which it experience a force and a magnetic substance is kept. Such thing we call it as a magnetic field. It is represented by symbol B. But in electric field it is represented by symbol E, because always you have to compare the properties, the electricity and magnetism. Now here the magnetic fields are here two types. What are they? Uniform magnetic field, and second one, non-uniform magnetic field. What is the meaning of uniform magnetic field? See, if the field lines are parallel to each other like this, if they are equidistant at each and every point, if the strength is same, that we call it as a like this. See here, the field lines are parallel. The field lines are parallel to each other, equidistant from each other. At each and every point, the direction is same, the strength is same. Such we call it as a uniform. And here, the magnetic field lines are here. You see, it is perpendicular to the plane of board. The direction is inward. Here, the direction is perpendicular to the out of the plane of board, but it is outward. Here it is inward, represented by cross. Here it is dots, represented by it is outward direction. Whereas non-uniform magnetic field is concerned, the non-uniform magnetic field is represented by like the arrows. This is converging magnetic field, and this is diverging magnetic field. But you see, they are not equidistant. At each and every point, the strength is not same. The directions are different. This is converging magnetic field, and this is diverging magnetic field. Now, what are the properties of this magnetic field? Magnetic field lines. See, this is north, this is south. These are the magnetic field lines. See, magnetic field line is nothing but an imaginary line. These are not real lines, just like electric field lines. But I already told you in the first class, electric field lines are open lines, but here magnetic field lines are closed lines. You see, they are starting from the north, ending at south, but inside the magnet they are traveling from south to north. Here outside they are traveling from north to south, but inside south to north. But electric field lines are open, but these are closed. Next, if you draw tangent at any point that gives the direction of magnetic field line. Next, no two magnetic field lines cannot intersect with each other, because electric field lines cannot intersect with each other, and same time magnetic field lines also cannot intersect with each other. Why? Because if they are intersecting, it shows two directions, which is highly impossible. So that is the reason it cannot intersect with each other. Next, a magnetic field where all the lines are crowded, that indicates the strong magnetic field. If the lines are spaced, that indicates the weak magnetic field. Where the lines are crowded, strong magnetic field. Where the lines are spaced, that indicates weak magnetic fields. So once again, you see the properties of all magnetic field lines. The magnetic field lines or electric field lines both are imaginary lines. Electric field lines, open lines. Magnetic field lines, closed lines. Both the cases, if you draw tangent, that gives the direction. Next, electric field lines as well as magnetic field lines, they cannot intersect with each other. If they are intersecting, at that intersecting point, it must show two directions. That is highly impossible. So that is the reason they cannot intersect. If the lines are crowded, strong magnetic field. If the lines are spaced, weak magnetic field. So these two, all these parts you must learn.